The New York Giants, Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor now starting due to the Daniel Jones injury. And then, of course, Tyson Bagent, the D2 guy, Shepherd University. Shout out PSAC there. Um, Winning for Chicago with Justin Fields being out. There's the obvious similarity of two starters, both, I don't want to say hyped, because I don't think Daniel Jones gets a lot of hype, but the contract, he's got a massive contract. Justin Fields, obviously, with a ton of hype, YouTube highlights type guy. Um, Besides that, look at how those games, not only that they won, it's how they won. Isn't it weird that Chicago doesn't run the football that good? Their offensive line hasn't been that good all year, and DJ Moore's good, but then outside of that, they kind of lack anything else on the outside, and they're cycling through running backs, and their defense really hasn't been all that good. And then Justin Fields is out, and they hold them to 12 points. Now, I know it's Brian Hoyer, but I mean, they still got good pieces. Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, right? Like, they still have good offensive line for the most part. Good offensive pieces. Held them to 12 points. They didn't get a rhythm. They had 6 garbage time points at the end. So basically held them to 6 points when it actually mattered. Well, Chicago doesn't run the football very... No, actually, they ran the ball really well with like a third-string running back. And their offensive line lets up a lot of... No, not that many sacks either. Tyson Bagent, I don't know, efficient, made the right plays, moved the sticks consistently. It's how that game was won. It was everything that we say Chicago isn't showed up when they needed it most. And it now begs the question, well, then what's really the problem in Chicago? And you could say, well, it's not Justin Fields. I mean, look what he has to work with. D2 comes in, wins an NFL game. I don't care who it's against. It's an NFL franchise. That's an NFL team. That is an NFL team on the other sideline. And when Justin Fields is looking at an NFL team on the other sideline, he's 6-25. I don't know what you want me to tell you. He's 6-25 when there's an NFL franchise on the other sideline from him. Tyson Bagent, 1-0 as a starter. I know it's a small sample. I'm not advocating to pick this D2 guy who really, I mean, look, he was fine. He moved the chains. Let's not act like he's, an NFL starter. Let's pump the brakes on that. I'm not saying let's make the switch to Tyson Bagent. My point is that if nothing else, that tells you right there, it's time to move on. It's time to move off Justin Fields. Did you see how they called the game? Run game, complementary football, field position, keeping them off balance, play action, efficiency. Justin Fields is, hey, kid, drop back and try to make something happen, run around a little bit, throw the ball to DJ Moore. If that doesn't work, I got nothing for it. Like, that was how the game should be played. It's almost like they're trying to cater too much to Justin when he's in the game instead of just calling the right play. They're so worried about justifying this draft pick. Even though they didn't pick him, they're so worried, we got to make Justin Fields work, right? He's the guy. He's got to run around and make all these big... No, he's got to move the chains, right? He's got to win football games, and he doesn't. And it's the same thing in New York with Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. I much prefer the Tyrod Taylor Giants, significantly prefer the Tyrod Taylor Giants over the Daniel Jones Giants. It's not really all that close. Could you imagine that roster if Tyrod Taylor was the starter and that was the salary for your starting quarterback? Instead of paying Daniel Jones 40-something million? Imagine if you're paying Tyrod, 7? That's a total guess. I don't know, probably less than 10. He's a backup. Imagine what you would have around him. And he's winning games with what he has around him now. Came within, 5 points of Buffalo? I know he didn't play all that well, but still. He's a grown-up in the room. Again, same thing. Instead of trying to justify this Daniel Jones, we reached for him at number 6, and he was really mediocre, and we still gave him $40 million. So now we have to justify why we gave Aldi brand Eli Manning $40 million. Instead of just calling the right play. Instead of running the football, getting Saquon Barkley in space. Jalen Hyatt, you're faster than almost anybody on the field. Run. Let's throw the ball to you, deep. They just make the right plays now, instead of the Daniel Jones plays, which usually turn out to be the wrong play. These NFL franchises, you won this week, both on the field and off the field. And I know Chicago fans are like, what are you talking about? Our franchise quarterback is out and we won. Now there's all this questioning in the franchise. That's good. You're supposed to question it in the franchise because he's not good enough to be your starter. Hopefully your franchise woke up and said, ooh, yeah, we're going to have 2 of the top 5 picks. Let's go ahead and take one of the generational prospects that are next. Right? It's time to move on. Same thing in New York. If you want to keep Brian Daboll, you're going to have to move off Daniel Jones because Brian Daboll's not going to put up with Daniel Jones. So you take your pick. If the owner steps in and says, Daniel Jones is my starter no matter what, Daboll's gone. Point blank, end of story. He's gone. Whether he leaves on his own accord because he said, I can't win with this, or he tries to win with it, doesn't, and ends up getting fired, he'll be gone either way, and you'll lose one of the best head coaches in football. I think he's top 10 already. Or you can let him roll with his guy, Tyrod Taylor, for a year, draft the next guy, move on, eat the dead cap. You're paying a rookie quarterback and a Tyrod Taylor side, basically 2 rookie quarterback salaries. And you reboot. You move on. By year 2 of that young quarterback's career, you're in a great cap spot. He's got a ton of talent, a great offensive coach. It's time to reboot it. It's time to move on. Both of these franchises, you want on the field, you also want off the field. You guys finally have clarity. You don't have the guy. You don't have the guy. Look, I'm a Pittsburgh fan. Is there an argument I'd rather be where Chicago is right now as a franchise than where Pittsburgh is? I know it sounds crazy, but people are 100% going to talk themselves into Kenny Pickett. And I don't mind Kenny Pickett. I don't. But we're going to roll with the defensive culture. We're going to keep paying our defense a ton of money. And we're going to go ahead and win anywhere between 8 and 10 games for the next, 11 years. Probably win 2 playoff games. And then that'll be it. And we're going to hear the same moaning and groaning. Oh, the play calling and Tomlin and he's not good enough. He's good, but he's not good enough. Would you rather be Kirk Cousins and that be like? I'd rather be bad, get clarity. It's a great quarterback class. Move on. You now know what you need. That's it. You now know what you need.
Yeah, I'm all for gaining clarity, but at the same time, we have to remember what these organizations have been as of late. And yeah, there might be mumblings about it, but who knows if anything actually does end up changing here? Because I could so see the Bears doing a total Bear thing and just being like, no, after further thought, we've decided to stick with our guy, Justin Fields.
Yeah, and I think once he's healthy, you play him the rest of the year. But if you're talking like in terms of the draft,
yeah,
if they have 2 of the top 5 picks, you'd be out of your mind.
Yeah, what if they don't take a quarterback?
Out of your mind to not take a quarterback.
I would love to see that happen just to hear the rant on that.
6-25?
I think we'd have to clear the entire episode.
6-25? I mean, in the 10 games he hasn't played, they're 5-5.
Yeah.
They win almost as many games in 60% less opportunities. They win almost the same amount of games.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Flipping it over to the Giants real quick too. Did you really notice that much of a gap in play and difference of play between Tyrod Taylor and Daniel Jones?
Gap. Tyrod Taylor's better.
That's what I was thinking.
We talking about gap. If there's a gap, it's between Tyrod up here and Daniel Jones. Gap, my ass. There's no gap at all.
I would rather have Tyrod as my starting quarterback right now.
100%.
Did you see some of those throws he was making down the seam, down the side?
100. And people are like, put up 14
He's
points.
Impressive.
Like,
people
relax.
forget that if he was a starting quarterback until he had his lung stabbed.
Took the Bills to the playoffs multiple years before they got Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Multiple years. I mean, I would take Tyrod Taylor right now.
Best backup
absolutely.
in the league?
I don't know if he's the best backup.
Oh,
I think.
on.
Well, Gardner Minshew's technically, now he's a starter, but he's a backup. I would say Gardner's probably a little bit better.
Okay.
Younger's got a little bit more sizzle to him, I would say.
Either way, they're good.
I mean, Gardner put up, 38 against that Browns defense?
Yeah. I mean, hey.
Tyrod put up 14 against Washington at home.
If those 2 guys are my backups, I'm happy with where I'm at if I'm an NFL
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I would take Tyrod over Daniel. I mean, who would you take Tyrod over in the league right now? I'd take him over Sam Howell, probably.
Yeah, but
I would take him over Desmond Ritter.
I would take him over Kyler Murray.
Shut your mouth. You would not take him over Kyler Murray.
No.
I would take him over Josh Dobbs, though.
Oh, yeah.
Their current starter.
Yeah.
I would take him over Josh Dobbs.
Yeah. Either way.
There's an argument I'd take him over Derek Carr right now, but
Derek Carr's
long term, no. But
either way, it was a good discussion. All right, let's go. Time for hits.